Okay, everybody. Hello, Bernd Krüper speaking. It's a big pleasure being today here. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it tomorrow. Therefore, I decided together with Apaton and GBC to do the video session. Thanks to Apaton and GBC for having the opportunity to present here. Very likely a lot of the audience is knowing dynaCERT quite well from the past. As you know, HydraGEN technology and is developed by dynaCERT, and the company itself is 22 years of age. That means it's not a brand new startup, but a company with a history and a proven product. I'm since May shareholder and director of dynaCERT, as well as from the shareholding side, some of you. And since July 1st, I'm also working as an executive, means in the role of a president, working, of course, very closely with Jim Payne, the chairman and CEO, and the whole team. And as said, pleasure being here and having the opportunity to talk about dynaCERT and its newest developments. As most of you know, dynaCERT is a growing energy sector company. It's specialized in delivering carbon emission reduction technologies. That's why it's also the CERT in dynaCERT. And to a global marketplace, of course, a lot of you know us from Canada and Northern America, as well as from the Americas, means also South America, majorly from the mine sites in Chile and Peru. But of course, we are a global company having business and potentials all over, and also more and more in Europe, one about which I will talk in a minute. As said, 22 years of business, of operation, and therefore we have in that time developed and worked out a reliable and effective electrolysis unit that generates hydrogen and oxygen on demand to reduce emissions and at internal combustion engines, and by that to provide, of course, also an increase in fuel economy, means significant reduction in fuel consumption. Having said that, maybe a few words about the technology. On the one hand side, we take care or provide an enhanced combustion, means as said, on-demand electrolysis unit using distilled water. You see there on the left-hand side the box, which is called HydraGEN, and the size of the box, depending on the power range and the size of the engine which is connected to it, is roughly the size of a computer. A desktop version means not too big, not always easy depending on the situation on the truck side, but principally easily to install, and you will find some space at the truck to mount it. It's not too much effort to get it into operation. It's 2 hours, roughly 2 hours installation time. And having the box connected to the battery and to the alternator, and the gas intake in front of the turbocharger with the manifold, you have a pure hydrogen and the pure oxygen gas separation, which will be inputted into the combustion chamber. And this technology is different also to some competing solutions, which usually don't separate H2 and O2 as much as we do and as clean as we do. By putting into the combustion chamber the pure H2 and pure O2, we have an enhanced combustion, means by that we have earlier hotter combustion, means that an earlier stroke, which gives better performance of the combustion, and this leads to reduced fuel consumption and of course reduced emissions. And in addition to that, you have also for the engine reduced maintenance. You have with the after treatment less regeneration cycles necessary. The oil consumption is also increased, and you have less urea or DEF consumption. It's better for the diesel particle filters, and we have with our HydraLytica software, we have automated data reporting, which is important for seeing and giving evidence to the emission reduction and the fuel reduction, which is counted by the telematics system and being measured. Therefore, the company dynaCERT owns, of course, a lot of intellectual property and patents worldwide. Therefore, we have the patent hydrogen production and delivery. The box I explained already. With this system, as said, we can separate H2 and O2 and then optimally mix it in the combustion chamber and the turbocharging compressing. We have a patented smart electronic control unit, an own one separate to the engine ECU or the vehicle ECU, of course connected but separate. And we have a patented high output, low energy electrolysis system, which is also our IP, our development, and of course being one of the core elements together with the ECU of the HydraGEN box. Coming back to the HydraLytica software, which we own, is necessary or reasonably being used for the tracking of fuel and emission reduction. It's on the one side permanently and continuously and regularly sending data, means it creates by that an automated reporting and analytics. Therefore, it tracks fleet-wide fuel savings, emission reductions, as well as generated carbon credits, which is a result out of the emission reduction and the fuel saving. And by that, the operators, box owners, fleet owners, as well as dynaCERT generate by that passive revenues, because we can, with our HydraLytica software and telematic software, generate carbon credits. With the new hydrogen system, we got their official approval from the authorities Vera, but I will come back to that also in a minute. Here showing some of our dynamometer test results, which show significant reductions in emissions, and by that, of course, also fuel savings. You see the various types of emissions and pollutions, which significantly, like the NOx or the particulate matters, by 88 and by 55%, or THC 60%, besides the significant fuel reduction and CO2 reduction. Means it's not only fuel and not only CO2, it's a lot of pollution and emission reductions which count here. And coming from with a background, my personal background, working with Mercedes, with Rolls-Royce, heading MTUs, sales and service globally, I can tell you, to reach such figures in fuel reduction as well as in pollution and emission reductions is hard work, costs a lot of money, and in a very well developed diesel engine, not easy to reach or maybe impossible. Therefore, it's really significant what we see here in emission and pollution savings. Here I show you a few installations on which the hydrogen unit is installed here out of France. An Iveco truck, Euro 6 class. Here's another installation, which is majorly a mining truck, as you can see, for the open pit installation. There you see the box at the top in front of the cabin, which is also used at a lot of mine sites. Here you see another example of a recent installation. Means we assembled it to the box to a race truck for the rally Paris-Dakar, and you can imagine tough conditions at which also the hydrogen solution supported the truck. It went very stable and reliable, and shows also under the toughest conditions our system works properly, which of course is important and proof of concept and proof of technology. In which markets are we in? Of course, in the broad, principally, our device works with all diesel engines in the various applications in different power ranges. Of course, the size of the equipment of our equipment is different. We have 4 sizes of boxes up to now, but could add and do it modularly also for smaller or the more and the bigger power ranges, like for instance ocean-going vessels, as you see at the bottom at the right-hand side. Therefore, majorly Majorly, we are up to now in the mining application in oil and gas and in Class 8 trucks, but also having first field tests and yeah, first installations in various automotive and on-highway applications like buses, like refrigeration trailers, in agricultural equipment like combine harvesters, and also in stationary applications like power generation, or also starting now with locomotives and the rail application, where we have also first installations. Therefore, broad range of automotive, majorly commercial vehicle applications, as well as off-highway, stationary and mobile, at land and on the water to come. At land, we are already on the water. We are in very promising discussions with various key players. What did change since the last time? I think a lot of you, or maybe all of you, know Jim Payne, our CEO and chairman. I have the honor to be added to the management team around Jim. Means I have personally a background, as said, starting my career with Daimler, heading there the strategic planning for sales and marketing, becoming the Maybach product manager. Some of you may know the Daimler luxury car, moving within Daimler to MTU in Friedrichshafen to the big diesel and gas systems for marine and industrial and power generation applications. Working also for Rolls-Royce, heading there, for instance, the Chinese propulsion business out of Shanghai, having worked and headed a small engine company called Motorenfabrik Hatz, where I was the CEO and did the turnaround. And yeah, very happy to be since mid of May in the management team as president and director of dynaCERT. And by the way, I'm also, same as a lot of you or some of you, also shareholder and invested private money into the company and into the stock. I also convinced my right hand, Kevin Unrat, to become the new COO. Kevin started officially also per November 1st as COO. He has also, of course, a lot of expertise in propulsion systems and automotive and off-highway, and worked also at MAN, at Rolls-Royce, and together with me also at Motorenfabrik Ratz. We are added to the management team, of course, besides Jim Payne and Jean-Pierre Coulin and Ed Cordero. Therefore, it's adding, not replacing. We also added various competences and skills to the board of directors team. We had there already a very professional team, and added together with Jim and Jean-Pierre and the guys. Also a new non-executive director, James Tensi. He's a professional in carbon markets, in clean technology, in innovations and impact investing. He's, for instance, the CEO of At Carbon Done Right, and knows a lot of the various carbon topics and emission topics and regulations. We have also Tanya Roundtree now in our executive director's role, non-executive director's role, sorry. She held several leadership roles in the security industry as well as at TMX. Therefore, she's also very familiar, of course, with the stock exchange and with trading and all topics which are also relevant for us, being at the stock exchange listed. Myself also, I became a executive director, and I could also manage, and we could also manage that my former very valuable colleague, Doug Seneschen, former colleague from Detroit Diesel and MTU, also joins our board of directors. And Doug has a lot of capabilities around distribution, about market exploration, about, of course, on highway from the Penske Group and off highway from DDC and MTU. Therefore, I think dynaCERT was able to add additional deep competence to the management team and to the board of directors. What happened as well and will happen internally We worked hard and added additional improvements to the sourcing, to the manufacturing, to the assembly concerning process quality, concerning further development of HydraLytica, the telematic software, which all is, of course, the backbone for the intended strong volume increase. Means we further developed, it was already and is already after 22 years or based on 22 years experience, a very reliable product and hardware. But of course, to be further developed and adjusted, same counts to the software, which of course is not 22 years old, but therefore adjusting to various applications, to various demands. Therefore, of course, further development happening and to be continued also for different requests from different geography and different fuel types. We also accelerated and increased the sales and lead campaigns. Means we want to scale up, of course. We want to have repeat orders where we did win already a few, but more to come from the existing customer base. And also, of course, we additionally approach and did approach already and continue to approach various applications, geographies, majorly also in Europe, but not only in Europe. Also, we have now business discussions and first installations in Far East as well as in the Middle East. We talk with various and are approached actively from them, partially with combustion engine manufacturers. We talk with propulsion system and renewables development companies. We talk with various vehicle OEMs, majorly from the CVD side. And of course, we talk and deliver and want to scale up with the major target group, which is operators and fleet owners who use our HydraGEN technology. Talking on the European setup, dynaCERT is a Canadian company being headquartered in Toronto. We have also a European setup, a small one in Germany for the European Union. There we do also go ahead and professionalize the operations, which of course is also the basis for further business and scaling up in the EMEA region. Depending on which volumes and for which customer, and depending on the capacity and the cost of production in Canada, we are also thinking blue sky on intended localization somewhere in the EMEA market, as said, depending on business opportunities and cost positions and how much the capacity in Toronto would be loaded and completely sold out. And we, of course, strive for a widely autonomous business activity in Europe, for Europe, which doesn't mean we don't want to work with Toronto. Of course, it's a subsidiary and very close cooperation, but being fast in the region and in mother tongue and same time zone. For sales and service, of course, and as well for homologation issues, in Europe is a lot of things legally and homologation wise differently than in Canada. And also within the EU is unfortunately German legislation on that topic is different than the French, than the Spanish. And of course, we need to set up and grow also the technical and installation and service capabilities in Europe. And maybe the good message, we communicated it already, and very likely most people of you have heard about. We received officially the approval by the worldwide leading carbon authority, Verra, Washington based with a global reach and global importance and reputation. Therefore, it's a general approval of dynaCERT's tremendous efforts in realizing less emissions and CO2 reductions. The process itself lasted for more than 3.5 years because, of course, it's new technology. It's also to Verra a new solution, and therefore, finally, in cooperation with Verra, they approved our solution, which is our hardware and our HydraLytica software, which, as said, is important to show and give evidence of the individual fuel reduction and the individual emission reduction by that. And we are at the moment in the definition of the process for applying for this authorized carbon credits for ourselves and our customers space. That means it's also a source of income generating for dynaCERT as well as for the HydraGEN users and operators, which of course is besides fuel savings and emission reductions, also a nice source of income for dynaCERT as well as for the operators. Okay, what is our general target? Of course, you expect from us as interested parties and maybe some of you shareholders, you expect and we expect ourselves that we significantly increase our volumes. We still have numerous capacity in Canada to produce and assemble for the markets. By that, we want, of course, to increase significantly the revenue and the turnover. We will have, after definition and the individual application for the carbon credits, we will have then a permanent subscription earnings. That means it's not a one-off with hardware only anymore. Will then also be a permanent subscription, and by that, permanent earnings. And of course, we want to grow by more volume, by more turnover, by more earnings and profit, the dynaCERT's enterprise value, and ideally, of course, also the share price. This is something which has impacts on us as a company and for you, of course, as shareholders. And with these interests and information, I will finish my short presentation. I thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to meet most of you or maybe all of you in person soon at any occasion. Thank you very much.
Excellent presentation. Thank you very much. I have a few questions for you. So, first of all, could you please elaborate on the current status of the product? Is it fully developed, or are there ongoing enhancements or updates in progress?
Yeah, thanks, Matthias. Very good question. Yeah, first of all, of course, the product HydraGEN is ready for the market. The market is now there. And you know, HydraGEN is not a newly developed topic. It's existing since a lot of years and decades, but now is the market ready, specifically with our technology, because as you may know and as explained, you don't have to transport the hydrogen to the place of operation, or you have to have a pipeline. We produce with HydraGEN our own hydrogen in the electrolysis on the vehicle in the box. Therefore, yes, market is ready. Product is ready for majorly for the diesel applications. Means we have, of course, a very well working electrolysis unit. We have a mechanical installation which works, and the hardware components are doing very well. Secondly, our software and telematics works also properly. It's now proven, as said, also by Vera, that we can realize the carbon credits with these telematic solution. Therefore, yes, product is ready, and the installations give first or result in first repeat orders, which shows that not only we think the product is ready and reasonable, it's also first customers who rebuy and repeat their orders, which is always the more important, rather than saying us at the manufacturer. Secondly, of course, we have further enhancement and further development opportunities in areas where we go ahead. Means, as said, up to now, it's majorly close to 100% diesel engines, at which we put our boxes on. Of course, we have now more and more requests and questions out of natural gas applications or dual fuel applications, and HVO and different types of synthetic and biofuels. Therefore, the development and testing goes on. It opens also additional opportunities for the future. And as said before and explained, there's also very small engine applications approaching us, as well as very, very big engine applications like ocean-going vessels who talk with us. Therefore, also from the product side and product portfolio, of course, there would be various further developments possible. Which ones are reasonable depends, of course, on the effort necessary, on the volumes, and on the other hand side, as most of you know, we are not a 10,000 people company. Therefore, we have to focus, which is at the moment majorly mining, oil and gas, and Class 8 applications, which we do ourselves and which we developed ourselves, and where we take care about ourselves. But yeah, there's also various ways and discussions on strategic partnerships, on potential joint ventures, on various localizations where we strategically think about. But as said, we have to evaluate the various opportunities which pop up, and therefore, yeah, should be also for the audience being very interested that we have a broad range of opportunities which we can explore and have to explore.
All right, great. So you mentioned repeat orders. Could you provide more insight into the business outlook? What are the key factors driving future growth?
Yeah, thanks, Matthias. First, we have a significant number of field tests and installations where the operators and customers do test our devices. And of course, a lot of them are fine with the result, and by that go for repeat orders, which of course is scaling up our volume and turnover with an impact on our cost and profit side, of course. Secondly, with the additional leads and lead campaigns which we are working on, as well as entering into additional geographies and applications, of course, we come to bigger volumes, and by that to bigger turnover, and by that we will have a positive contribution margin and hopefully profit effect to the company.
Excellent. And could you provide more details about the CO2 certificates? How do they impact your business model and revenue streams?
Yeah, Matthias, also excellent question, of course. Means on the one hand side, as we all know, we have hardware turnover based on selling of HydraGEN boxes and doing the installation. Secondly, we have now the additional carbon credit revenues, which means this is not only a one-off in selling hardware, it's a permanent and continuous profit, respectively revenue contributor for the operator as well as for us. And as long as the box is working and as long as it's switched on and producing hydrogen, and by that reducing the emissions, we save CO2, and for that we get the reward and pay back for the credits, which we will share between dynaCERT, who is applying for dynaCERT, and our operator.
Yeah, excellent presentation. Lots of interesting insights and a lot of growth opportunities. So thank you again, Bernd.
Yeah, thank you, Matthias, once again for having the chance to present here. Thank you to you, GBC and Apaton, and thank you to the audience for listening. And as said, looking forward to seeing you soon at any occasion. Thank you so much.